Okay, so welcome to Health Coach Corner. I'm Charity.
I'm Jessie.
And we're coming at you. Last week we didn't get to video, so I had the flu. A ton of you have probably struggled or know someone struggling with the flu, and I'm telling you that influenza A.
It's no joke.
It's no joke. My husband was like on his back sick for bad sick for like 6-7 days. It was just.
Though a lot of people would say that's the man flu, but
Yeah, it was a man flu, but he really is pretty tough. But anyway, so I started getting sick and went into the doctor, and sure enough, I tested positive for influenza A as well. And the Tamiflu and the things that they wanted to prescribe, some of you may have had great results with it, but it was scary. Like when you start researching it, I was like, I don't want this in my body, and I surely don't want to stick it in my kids' bodies. I mean, they were saying it can even make kids kind of feel out of their mind, and I'm not giving my kid anything that does that. No. So I was posting and asking around for different options, and I had a great doctor, Dr. John Thomas, down in Jacksonville, Florida. He does the same program that we do here at Pure Health. Awesome guy. He said, I'm sending you the colostrum, Elicidin, and Nucleoimmune. A lot of our clients know about Nucleoimmune. They're all three immune boosters, but he had me order these, and when this trio's together, it's like the strongest antiviral that you can take. I mean, so instantly I got on this. I was so sick, went straight from the doctor's office to the office to pick these up. And I took a dose that night, and I took a dose the next morning, and I was fine by the next night. Like I was 90% better. Like I still kind of,
still feeling kind of cruddy, but not anywhere near like you were.
Oh no, I never hit bedridden like my husband. I never hit that. So my daughter, in her basketball game, she started getting the scratchy throat, the coughing, exactly how I started. So I instantly got her on this regimen as well. And she was fine the next day, went to her school dance, and hasn't gotten sick at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw my son on it because he gets everything. He always gets whatever's going on. And he never got sick. So I'm telling you, if you're starting to feel crummy, if your family can't shake it, if it's going around and you're worried about it, call us. Because we got these on order, we got the regimen, we got what you need. You don't have to suffer, and you don't have to put awful medications with bad side effects in your body. So all natural.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
No. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was an important Health Coach Corner because it's really hitting a lot of people. A lot of schools are closing, lots of stuff going on. So definitely. Now I'm super excited for what Jessie's going to show because who doesn't love food?
It's a food day.
and who doesn't love food ideas? Like when other people have ideas, it's like so cool. So I'm going to step aside and I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yeah, I get asked all the time for different recipes, different ideas for food, stuff that works for the whole family, all that kind of stuff. I mean, especially this time of year, you want stews, you want soups, you want that comfort food. And I grew up in a big meat and potato family, so roasts and potatoes and carrots and all that kind of stuff was a normal weekly meal after church. We'd all come home, or we'd go to my grandma's house, and we'd have this huge gathering of food. And with the program, you can't do potatoes. It's kind of sad. But along the way, when you're learning all this stuff, you learn people can't always digest potatoes very well. It's not necessarily good for your system, and they're very starchy, which is something you can't have while you're in fat burn. And so Charity actually found out about a version of this from one of her clients, and then I kind of made my own concoction from it, because that's how I usually work anyways. But it's a stew. So I just did some beef, some stew meat, because Charity and this other lady, they were doing roast because they're feeding a whole family. I'm feeding myself. I don't need that much food. So I just did stew meat, and I seared mine up with some salt, pepper, some garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of that liquid aminos to get that little extra kick in there. So I put this in my crock pot, dump it all in there, and then I do mushrooms. Just chop up a bunch of mushrooms, dump them in there. And when you're making this, measure out your food as you're dumping it into the crock pot. You can calculate your calories from it. And then get a phone call in the middle of a video. Sorry, typing. You can calculate your calories from this. And then when you measure out your food into your bowls once it's all done cooking. Divide the total number of calories that you got for the whole pan, so all of your roast, all of your mushrooms, all of your onions right here. And I also do radishes, but measure all this stuff out and you can calculate your calories and meal prep. This for me is gonna be a whole week of food plus. When I calculate it, cause I prepped all this stuff last night, and with the amount of food that I'm putting in here, this will be 5 different meals. Like 5 different meals you don't have to worry about. You're doing it all at one time. Meal prepping is such a huge help with this. And then a lot of people, when I've been talking to them about this recipe, I get to the whole radish part and they're like, ugh. Like, most people don't like radishes. They're a little bit of a stronger taste, got a little bite to them. And when you think about them raw, quite often you think of them as gross. But when you put them in this crock pot with all the other vegetables and the meats and the different seasonings and stuff I'm gonna put in there, they end up tasting like potatoes by the time it's all done. And I know it's one of those things that you won't believe it till you try it, which, try it, cause it's good. They even lose, like, they got the bright red color to them and everything. When they're all done, they even look like potatoes. That redness goes away. It all blends together. But you just put all your veggies and your meat in the crock pot. I personally will add a bunch of garlic powder. So I like seasonings. I like flavor in all my food. So I do garlic powder, some onion powder. Pepper. Some pink salt I have right here. Just gonna measure this out. And then some rosemary. And I honestly don't really measure these out exactly. It's different every time I make. I'm very much an instinctual baker. I just grab stuff and dump it in. And do it whatever way works best for you. If you want to do all these seasonings and herbs in there, awesome. If you want to keep it plain and simple, that's fine as well. Do whatever works well for you. This is some thyme. And then these are 2 things that I've had a lot of people not even think about putting in their foods. Cardamom and coriander. These just give it a little bit more of that savory sweet flavor. So this is the cardamom. Oops. Coriander. And then I have a couple crushed garlic cloves here as well. Just dump all this in together. The last couple things I put in here is water. Which I'll just take one of these bowls. Fill it up. And then something my family has always done with their roasts, whether they put them in the Dutch ovens or crock pot or whatever, we put a couple green tea bags on top of the meat. That ends up helping the tenderness of the meat. It helps with the flavors, blend everything together, and then you're also getting all the antioxidants and health benefits from the green tea as well. And it doesn't taste like you just put a bunch of green tea in your food. Just put the green tea bags on top, maybe get a little water on top of them, stir it all up, have it in your crock pot for 8 to 10 hours. By the time it's all said and done, you have a whole big stew in there, or roast if you did roast meat. But this is the after of everything. You can zoom in on this. But look, it actually looks like potatoes. And it tastes like potatoes. It's good stuff, and you get a lot of calories from it. It's a good, healthy recipe that the whole family will like, and you're following the program without screwing anything up. So if you want to try it, I highly recommend it. I can write out the list of ingredients if you'd like, but otherwise, try some new recipes. Try things out, because how else are you going to learn different healthy options without trying it? If you need more ideas, feel free to call the office, or if you'd like to come in for an appointment, just let us know. Have a good day.